we're back with more Expecting Unexpected by Arctic Vulpix. And I guess kind of Corona Pax. I know she's responsible, or they are, sorry, responsible for Heidi's creation. So, yeah. In the last chapter, Heidi threatened puppets, and we're getting a little mystery. Like, there's secrets people have. Like, Heidi doesn't know about the ghost yet, but she's also hiding secrets as well. That I know because I've already read this, like, through. So I already know, but you guys don't. So, and it's probably going to be many, many chapters before you guys find out. Unless you want to read for yourself, you can go do that. I'm just reading the story. But yeah, let's just get right on into this. If you want to follow along, chapter link is in the description below, as always. So let's get started. Chapter 37, Revenge. Something was bothering Freddy, even though it was a relatively peaceful night. The groups had called a temporary truce, under threats from both Ruby and Heidi respectively, and were gathered reluctantly to watch a movie since Ruby was still supposed to be resting. And no, it wasn't the fact that Ruby was playfully glaring at everyone while she lazily spun a paint-filled water gun around her finger, nor was it the fact that the mechanic was glancing at him as she wrote in a notebook and looked at a book she had on the table, a system manual from what he could see. It wasn't the fact that Bonnie was practically cowering behind him and Ruby in an attempt to put anything between him and the mechanic. It wasn't even the fact that Toy Bunny was complaining as loudly as possible about his left eye, which Heidi had knocked loose during her amusing rant the other day and had only that day popped out, scaring some kids. Would you just hurry up, please? My depth perception is completely gone, he whined. I'll say, you missed the door. Twice. Chica sounded amused. Toby, shut up for 10 more minutes, or else I will get out my muting screwdriver, Heidi warned as she continued to write. Whatever she had threatened seemed to work, because Toy Bonnie immediately quietened, earning him snickers from Toy Chica. What's a muting screwdriver? Ruby asked. Can I get one? Ha. No, Heidi answered sarcastically. Buzzkill, Ruby muttered. She yawned. I wonder why the projector is taking so long to warm up, she mused distractedly. She sent a bored glare in the direction of the movie player. Freddy looked around again before noticing something. Oh, that's what had been bothering him. Someone was missing. Where's Mangle? He asked with a frown. Ruby frowned and looked around. She was here a minute ago. The toys glanced around worriedly. Mangle? Toy Freddy called. She's fine, Teddy, he told him, closing her book and motioning for Toy Bonnie to come over. But I wouldn't suggest interrupting her right now. Where is she? Freddy asked. He smirked. You'll probably hear soon enough. Ruby snickered, remembering the tail end of a conversation she had caught earlier. What's that supposed to mean? Bonnie glared at the mechanic, but was cut off as an ear-splitting shriek echoed through the building, making everyone jump in shock. It was a sound none of them had ever heard before. And Kurt yelling continued as the bots shared confused glances. Is that Puppet? Toy Bunny asked in disbelief. Apparently, he snickered, and got to work on Toby. Ruby was choking on her giggles for the whole 5 minutes that they all waited in confusion, listening to the angry yelling when the pitch of the shouting suddenly rose to a frantic screeching and continued like that for 30 seconds. What is... Goldie closed her book, debating on whether to go and investigate. Hold on, Goldie, Ruby laughed, stopping the yellow bear before she could teleport away. She hadn't heard the whole of Mangle's and Heidi's one-sided conversation, but she heard enough to figure out that the clown wasn't having a great day, which was completely fine with her. There were clanging sounds from the hallway a second later before Mangle poked her head through the top of the doorway. She was grinning, looking nervous and embarrassed, but at the same time far too amused for her own good. There was also something black and white hanging from her toothy jaws. What did you do to Puppet? Toy Bunny asked hesitantly. He eyed the limp black thing suspiciously. She wouldn't have. Would she? Mangle came the rest of the way into the room and dumped the limp black thing in the middle of the room. It crumbled to the ground and Mangle looked very smug. He was suddenly reminded of a cat she had when she was a little girl. It often brought her little dead things as gifts. Rats and birds and the like. Strangely enough, the yelling was still continuing from the other room and not from the pile of noticeably empty fabric on the ground. Ruby stared at the thing and reached out to poke it with Betty. A smile was fighting to show itself on her face. Is that the clown's suit? She asked, grinning broadly. Freddie blinked. Did you? You took him out of his suit? He asked incredulously. Mangle did nod, but she grinned her grin widened a little, even as she looked away slightly sheepish. Ruby continued poking the black and white fabric with her bat until a wooden mask showed itself under the folds. He managed to control herself long enough to shout as loud as she could. Feeling a little breezy there, Marionette? Shut up, you. The rest of his faint-sounding curse-filled tirade probably shouldn't be repeated. Ruby curled into a ball as she tried to control her laughter. After everyone finished cringing, both at the swearing and at the empty limp suit, Ruby turned to Edie, who had a pleased look on her face. Please tell me you two have something else planned. Ruby laughed through the pain in her shoulder. She was irritating it with her laughing, but she didn't care right then. Oh, I don't know. Edie rolled her eyes modestly and shrugged with an exaggerated bored air. I kind of thought you'd like to be a little creative with it. We have to give it back eventually. We can't really have the kids see a naked robot skeleton walking around later the day, after all. Based on her nonchalant tone of voice, that was probably the only reason Edie would put a deadline on her and Mangle's idea of teaching Puppet a lesson. Oh, don't say it like that, Chica whined, grimacing. Toy Freddy looked about ready to burst into a lecture about how against the rules that was, but snapped his mouth shut at the look his pink and white fox friend shot him. Ruby gave a sinister smile and picked up the suit with the end of her bat. Oh, I can get very creative. Very creative indeed. She snickered, eyes dancing. She glanced over at the doorway at a slight noise and did a double take as she raised her bat higher. The suit still dangling off it. What the heck is that? She pointed at the spindly thing that was glaring at everyone in the room. Its pinprick white LED eyes were narrowed in annoyance. Give it back, it hissed for a black speaker on its face with Puppet's voice. He blinked in shock. She wasn't sure. She just knew that the half wooden, half metal wire-covered skeleton-looking thing standing unsteadily in the door as it favored its right leg was indeed Puppet. He was a heck of a lot creepier out of his skin. Hi, Puppet, Toy Bonnie greeted her uncertainly. They didn't talk to him for a couple of days since they lost and found out what he had done. And it was seriously throwing him off to see Puppet not as Puppet. Mangle let out a crackle of static and suddenly swooped down, picking up Puppet's costume/suit from Betty in her mouth and bolting for the other door. Ah! The marionette ground and darted into the room to follow Mangle, wobbling slightly on his damaged leg and trying, and failing, to ignore just how humiliating this all was. Everyone stared at the door for a moment. Ruby looked thoughtful for a moment. You know, what? Edie asked without looking at her. I think he looks better this way, Ruby smirked. No, was the immediate response. Puppet eventually did find a suit with barely 5 minutes to spare before opening time. Finally, he snapped. How dare they? He had never been so humiliated before. It was tacked onto a wall in the staff room with the push pins from the bulletin board, and with all the arms and legs in the proper place. Probably Ruby's doing. Puppet glared at his own face, staring back at him with blank eyes. His own real white ones narrowed in fury. Muttering to himself as he stalked forward towards it and reached up to yank himself off the wall. At that moment, one of the cleaners opened the door with the intent to get his morning coffee from the staff room. He entered just in time to see a smallish, very creepy endoskeleton yank a flattened marionette off the wall before the paint, glitter, bleach bombs hit it inside, and behind it went off in a spectacular explosion. Apparently, bleach turned black fabric purple. Puppet looked very splotchy and dripped rainbows and unicorns from every single sleeve that day. Meanwhile, Ruby went home and demanded to be called the Clown Rainbow Fire for the rest of the day to the house's amusements. And that's the end of chapter 37. It's probably shorter. Yeah. So, this was a little shorter. It was just a little revenge back at Puppet, it seems. But it seems from the look of the author notes that we're going to get Balloon Boy back. Or we're going to figure out where Balloon Boy is in the next chapter. But yeah, I hope you did enjoy this chapter. Leave a like if you did. Go leave a review. I don't want any comments unless you leave a review. There is a link. Click on it. Go leave a review. Go on, shoo. This is the end of the video now. Yeah. And you don't have to have an account. It just means the author can't respond. So go leave a review. If you do that, come back and tell me about what you think. But over there, go. And be sure to subscribe. I upload videos Friday and now Saturday. Every Friday and now Saturdays, yeah. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow with another reading fanfiction. But not this one. It's another one. But yeah. Bye!